Congratulations! You've connected with the Pulpit Perspectives podcast. Join Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy as he connects with pastors where they preach, literally at the pulpit of their church. It's a point of view with purpose and personality that informs and inspires with real-life stories from great preachers you need to know. Your host is Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy. Let's join Kent at a pulpit with a fresh perspective from his guest preacher.
Well, welcome to Pulpit Perspectives podcast. This is Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy coming to us from the sanctuary, the lovely, expansive sanctuary of New Hope United Methodist Church in Elkhart, Indiana. Pulpit Perspectives podcast exists to connect clergy to each other and to their congregations. So I'm standing in the chancel at a pulpit with Reverend Sarah Miller at New Hope. Sarah, welcome to Pulpit Perspectives podcast.
I'm glad to be here.
So tell me, where are we standing exactly? Say more about this space that we're in.
Yes, I love the sanctuary. It's a round sanctuary. So we are in a complete circle here, which is pretty awesome. We're on the stage here, the chancel area, as you said. And it's really interesting. The first Sunday I preached here, as I started, I realized that from the stage, you can hear everything. I could hear everything people were saying, even in the back row. So it's definitely a very interesting sanctuary, but it's beautiful and it's a great space to worship in.
The word comes alive in more
Sure
ways
does.
than one in this space. All right. So Sarah Miller, what are you celebrating?
You know what? Just a couple of weeks ago, we had 20 new members join our church, 5 baptisms. It was just a beautiful service. This church has seen a lot of loss in the last several years. And so it was a real celebration. And not only that, we're starting 2 new small groups. We just started for Lent that we're hoping will continue. Just seeing our numbers kind of come back and just doing new ministries and starting new worship communities, I guess, at little, small groups.
Right.
And I think that's really great.
It's a lot to celebrate.
It sure is.
And to be excited about. So what do you do for fun?
Oh, that's a great question. We've got 2 kids. So one of them just happens to be here today. We have 2 kids, 16 and 14. So we're pretty busy with all of their activities and the things that they do. But we love to, especially in the summertime, go and spend time on the river, kayaking, and paddleboarding is one of our favorites. That's usually a Sunday afternoon activity after church. We'll grab something to eat and get out on the river. That's probably our favorite. So we don't get to do a lot in the winter, of course, but it's fun for the summertime.
Lovely. All right. So who inspired your call to ministry?
That's also a great question. I grew up in a great church, Ford Street United Methodist Church in LaPel, Indiana. And, we had some great pastors, but more than the pastors, I remember the Sunday school teachers and all of my family, my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family both attended, and they sat on opposite sides of the church. So we had to decide which side we were going to sit on, on Sunday morning. But my whole family just raised me in a Christian home, and everyone that I knew and had grown up with had a faith, and they poured into me. My dad became a pastor when I was 10 years old. So right before my 11th birthday, he took his first appointment. And I think I was at a really interesting age when that happened because I grew with him. He shared with me a lot of what he was learning in seminary. I watched his growth as a pastor, and it made me decide I didn't want to be a pastor. And I decided I didn't want to do that. And so I tried other avenues of ministry. I did camping ministry. I did youth ministry, and God had a call on my life and wouldn't let it go. And I think I've always known that, but it wasn't until I was 36, 37 that I actually said, I'm going to do this. And so I went back to seminary, and I'm just so thankful for them pouring into my life, my family, my dad, my mom, who's also a pastor. I've been blessed.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. So what is your go-to Bible verse?
I love the book of Jude.
Book of Jude.
Yes.
Okay.
I find that it's just one chapter. But there's some really beautiful passages in there. But of course, the one that I think always sticks with me, and for most people, is John 3:16, right? Everybody knows that verse, but there's a reason that everybody knows that verse. It is just the gospel in a nutshell. And when people look for something to hang their hat on, it's always been that verse. And so I do truly love it.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Who or what keeps you humble?
Mm. I think just the church in general keeps me humble because every day is a new day and every day brings a new situation that I often don't know how to handle and I have to figure out how to do it. I've only been a solo pastor for about the last year and a half. As an associate, you kind of think you know what you're doing. And then you get an appointment all on your own. And then you realize you don't. And I think that's really wonderful because it allows me to learn how to lean on other people, to trust in the lay leadership of our church for their skills and their expertise. And so I think the church itself keeps me humble because I don't have the answers. And I'm so thankful that I don't, because that means we do it together.
Right. It pushes you to say, hey, folks, this is a community together.
Absolutely.
And there's no expert here. There's no one servant of everyone, that we're all serving together.
Exactly.
And I hear you leaning into that humility as a gift to your people.
Yeah.
To say, I'm not here to do it for you. I'm here to do it with you.
Well, and that's part of the reason that I love the Methodist Church is that so much is on the laypersons of the church. It's not just the pastor. It is a true partnership. I'm the shepherd. This is their church. And so it's important for us to build that leadership within the church so that we can rely on one another.
That'll preach, sister.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of preaching, if you only had one preacher to listen to the rest of your life, what one preacher would you listen to?
Oh, that's a good question. I love Erwin McManus. I really enjoy listening to him. I think he's got some interesting perspectives on especially art and I like Erwin. I really like to listen to my dad.
Okay.
I do because he's a voice of strength for me, but also I'm just so proud of my family, my mom and my dad. And so I do love to listen to them and their perspective because it always hits home for me. Our experiences are very similar. And so I do appreciate that.
I'm going to hold you to the one, though. You mentioned
two.
So
no more.
I'm not being fair, but I'll hold you to the one.
Okay. One sounds good.
One. So which one?
It would probably be Erwin McManus. I would
Okay.
say. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to check Erwin out. All right. Thank you. So who are you? Mary or Martha?
I'm probably a Martha. I tend to keep myself pretty busy and for good reason. I think that Martha does a lot of good, but I have to tell myself that I can't do it all on my own. I try not to be too much of a complainer, but I have to tell myself I can't do it on my own.
So how do you realize that? Or how does that realization come to you that I can't do it all on my own?
Usually it's from my husband.
Oh, okay.
Who tells me, Sarah, you can't do this all on your own.
Stop it.
Yeah, you need to ask for help. But it's experience too. Really, I think youth ministry more than anything taught me that. Because in youth ministry, you're kind of, here are these teens, just go do your thing, right? And so you're often all by yourself. And I learned pretty quickly that I couldn't do that. I tried it for many years. And by the time I left youth ministry, I had a huge team that was walking alongside of me. And I was so thankful. It took me years to build it, but it was that ministry that allowed me to see I can't do ministry by myself.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that perspective. So who from the Bible would you like to go axe throwing with?
Axe throwing. Maybe Deborah.
Ooh, say more.
Yeah. Deborah was a warrior and a judge and the only female judge. And I think that if I could learn a little bit from somebody who was a little bit like me, maybe I would be Deborah. I would go with Deborah.
So would you go with Deborah to compete against her or compete with her?
Oh, I'd say with. I
Okay.
don't want to compete against her.
Okay,
No
all
way.
right. So you'd be teammates.
We'd be teammates.
Team Deborah / Sarah at
Yeah.
the axe throwing.
I'd like to be
competition.
her apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So what's your favorite church season?
Probably, I mean, it's a real toss up between Advent and Lent. I mean, because what I love about Lent is the space for surrender, right? It is space for not just for waiting, because that's a lot about Advent too, but with Lent, you have this opportunity to remove things from your life in a way that creates more space for God. And so I really love the intentional days set aside in the church calendar to do what needs to be done all the time, but in the church calendar for that. But then Advent is also just such a time of excitement in the church. It is a time of waiting, but it's really when I see people become more engaged with the gospel. And so for me personally, I would say Lent, but for the church, I would say Advent.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. Right. Personal answer / professional answer. I like it.
I try to find loopholes where I can go.
I like middle ground, middle way. All right. So what do you hope your fellow clergy know?
What do we know?
What do you hope they know? What do you hope your fellow clergy colleagues know?
Well, first, that they are created by God. Right? That first and foremost, they are God's children. And often we feel like we have to have all the answers. We feel like we have to have expertise in every area, and yet we don't. And so I hope they know that what they've been given, their gifts, are enough. Doesn't mean we don't keep still working toward, learning more, always be lifelong learners, of course, but their gifts are given to them for a reason, and to use those to the fullest of extent. One of the things I heard once, I cannot remember who told it to me, but when you don't use the gifts you're given, you're robbing the kingdom of God. And that has always stuck with me. And I think, comparison kills. And often it's hard in this day and age not to compare yourself as a pastor to other pastors and wish that you had the gifts that they had, or vice versa. But God has given us a special set of gifts. And I think that if we were to embrace the giftings that we've been given, the talents that we've been given, God has a purpose for us in specific spaces. And so I hope that
is a beautiful blessing to bestow upon your colleagues. Thank you for that. So last question.
Mm-hmm.
And you only get 3 words to answer.
Okay.
So I'm not being fair, but that's the deal. So you have 3 words.
Okay.
That encapsulate your hopes for the future of your time at this church. Whether that's a short time, long time, whatever. What that doesn't matter. But however long you have here at New Hope United Methodist Church in Elkhart, Indiana, what are the 3 words that come to mind to say, I hope for those 3 things to happen here while I'm their pastor?
Yeah, that's actually a really easy one. I think identity is first. Identity and vision and discipleship.
Identity, vision, and discipleship. Those are the 3 words that Sarah is praying into existence, we'll say.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your leadership here.
For this time and space, those are the 3 that we're working on. There's more to come after that, but those are right now, that's what we're praying for.
Those very rich and full of potential words. And my hope and my prayer is that comes to fruition here. So Reverend Sarah Miller, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
To be a part of the Pulpit Perspectives podcast. If you are interested in learning more about all the great things that's happening in the North District, would invite you to like the Facebook page, the North District Facebook page, or check out the North District news on the conference website. So, standing here in the chancel at a pulpit at New Hope United Methodist Church, we will close this time a Pulpit Perspective podcast. So, Reverend Sarah Miller, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
There you have it. A fresh perspective from the pulpit with a great preacher. You know you want to hear more. You can do just that by connecting with Pulpit Perspectives with Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy on Apple Podcast and Spotify, where you can like and follow the podcast. What's more, you can spread the good news about pulpit perspectives in your church and with your neighbors. Plan now on joining Kent at the pulpit, where you'll meet another great preacher on Pulpit Perspectives.